Hey, what is going on, guys? It is Young here, and today I'm back in another Fortnite video. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about my graphics and specifically the colors in Fortnite, because I've had a lot of comments and a ton of you guys asking, what are my colorblind settings, what are my brightness, and just everything in between, because you guys want to know exactly how my game looks the way it is, because honestly it looks really good. The colors are popping, and as well it's very bright, and as well it's very vibrant, and I'm going to tell you guys exactly why I'm able to have these kind of colors. And before we get into the video, I have a V-Buck giveaway. If you guys want a chance to win some free V-Bucks, all you need to do is to drop a like on this video, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on my notifications, and leave a comment down below of your Xbox gamer tag, PSN gamer tag, or Epic account. And as well, make sure you guys have me supported as a creator on the item shop. All you need to do this is go to the item shop, hit X, type in Young Humor. That's all you have to do, and you will have me added and supported as a creator. And alright guys, let's go right to the video. Alright, so a lot of you guys have been asking me about my colors, or what my settings are, and just everything in between, and I'm going to be talking about exactly how I'm able to have the kind of colors that I have. And to be completely honest with you guys, I wish all of you guys could have the colors that I have, because they're really nice. And the first thing that kind of helps me is I have the Xbox X, and I used to have the original Xbox. I've had it for the longest time. I mean, I've had it for years, and I pretty much bought it, I would say, probably like 2 or 3 years ago when Black Ops 3 came out, because I used to play that game a ton. I used to grind that game. I used to play it every single day because it was the only game I had, and that's pretty much the time where I got my Xbox. And so I've had it for ever since, and I really didn't, the reason why I got the Xbox X, because it's a lot smoother, it loads faster, and as well I had some problems with running into people who were invisible, my game not loading. So the best thing to do for me is I went immediately to the Xbox X, because I assumed that was the problem, and it really was. It solved all of my problems. And with the Xbox X, it's really cool. A lot of the items on the ground you see are glowing, so it could be minis, AR, SMG, and you can see how the P90 right here, it kind of glows on the ground. So for those of you guys who have the original Xbox and the original PS4, then you're not going to be able to have those kind of glowing items. And I'm not sure how it is. I'm not sure what the equivalent is to the Xbox X. Maybe it's the PS4 Pro. I don't even know. I really don't keep up with it because I play on Xbox. But the Xbox X is really nice. It supports 4K, but unfortunately I don't have a 4K monitor, because it would be really nice having all the colors pop even more. And I'm not entirely sure how the guns look or the glow on weapons on the Xbox S, because I know on the X it glows, and then the original Xbox it doesn't pretty much at all. So I'm not sure how it is for the S, but for the X it glows a ton, and that's the reason why my guns glow on the ground. The next thing that I want to talk about is the brightness that I use for Fortnite, and I do believe I play on a 1 brightness, and so I think that's the max brightness you can have. I think it goes anywhere from a 0 to a 1, and a lot of you guys, for picking the brightness setting that works best for you, is honestly just pick something that fits your monitor right. If your monitor is already a little bit brighter, or you play on a TV that's already bright, then you really don't need too much brightness at all. But since the game does have a nighttime feature, which is kind of annoying, I wish it was always daytime because I can see everything clearly. And I just had some issues where it would be in the dark time, it would be kind of night, and I really did have trouble trying to track and as well trying to just find darker skin players. For an example, like the Elite Agent's a very dark skin, and I would just have major trouble just trying to track the player and see where they are. Because if you're running through builds really quick, maybe you're building quickly, or maybe you're trying to go for an edit play, sometimes you're moving really quick and you don't have that much time to react to them. And sometimes it's just really hard to see them, depending on, you could be in a darker location, maybe you're like in a mountain area at the bottom, or you could be at the bottom of a house. Sometimes it'd just be very difficult to see the other player, and if they had a darker skin, it was just nearly impossible for me to see him, and I was just getting wrecked by him every single time, because I would go for my pump shotgun shot, and I would just completely miss, because I was thinking they're on the left side, but they're really in the middle. So it was just really messing me up, so I moved up to max brightness. And of course it doesn't help entirely. Sometimes it still can be a little bit harder to find those type of players, but it has definitely helped a lot. And if you guys are having trouble trying to see players, or just trying to spot players or track players, I would definitely move up your brightness to max and try it out, see if you guys like it. So the next thing that I would like to talk about is the colorblind settings that I use, and because a lot of you guys have been asking if I use a different kind of color blinds, or what exactly that I'm using to make my colors look better. And I play on the default colorblind settings. There's a lot of different colorblind settings. I think there was probably like 10 or so, because I was just scrolling through a few minutes ago, because I've never even looked at them before or even tried them out. So I spent like 15 minutes just scrolling through all the different kind of colorblind settings and see if there was any ones that I kind of liked. And honestly, for me, it really didn't make too much of a difference. I really didn't need any of them. And yes, it does change the colors just a little bit. It really doesn't make that much of a difference. It's not like an absolute drastic change. But if you guys do choose a colorblind settings, for me, like I said, I play on the default one. But if you guys were to choose a colorblind setting, then honestly, I would choose anything that makes the game a little bit lighter, because it's definitely a lot easier to see players. Because that was the main problem I had, was just in that darker time or in the nighttime, I would have a hard time finding those darker skinned players. So anything that I could do to lighten up my game a little bit, making it easier to see in those dark areas, because with that being such a problem for me, the only thing that I could do better was just try to make my game as light as possible, so I can see those players that are maybe in those darker areas of the map, or just camping under things that are kind of dark, which is honestly annoying. I wish it was just always daytime. That's what I play in creative mode and playgrounds mode, because there is an option for it. But I really wish it was always daytime, because I could see players correctly, and I really would get screwed over time after time again, just from not being able to see players, because that's the most annoying thing ever, because they're right in front of my face, but I can't see if they're to my left or they're to my right, and just trying to second guess myself in those close quarters situations is definitely not the move, and it gets me screwed over time after time again. So the next thing that I want to talk about is the colors that I have in Fortnite, and this gameplay here is right before I change it again. I was trying to change it up a little bit, and for this one I was kind of changing the colors a little bit, try to make it a little bit lighter in these darker kind of areas, and I did think it was kind of helpful, but at the same time it did kind of look a little bit dull. So I ended up switching it again, and for my recent gameplays, you guys are going to see exactly what that looks like. And the reason why I'm able to make the colors pop or change the colors, change the brightness and all that, and it's really unfortunate you guys aren't able to do this, but for me, I have an Elgato, which all it is a capture card. So that is what I'm using to capture the gameplay for this video, and they are kind of pricey. I think I paid upwards of $200 for mine. They're like $150, but they're very good capture cards. I would highly recommend if you guys are trying to record your gameplay. But at the same time, they are a little bit pricey, so not everyone's going to have one, and I wouldn't just get one just to have better colors. And so there's different picture options in the Elgato that allows me to change the colors, and the big one, the major one that you guys need to know about, and the one that I use a ton, and the name of that is called saturation, and that's basically the biggest factor in changing my colors and making my colors pop a little bit, for those of you guys who were really curious about that. And really, so to explain saturation, the best way that I can explain it is, so if you say you have 0 saturation, you're basically on a black and white screen. It's very dull, it's very colored, it's almost like you're watching a movie in like the 1970s. So a very dull black and white, that's no saturation. And full saturation, when you're at the 100, which is the max you can go to on the Elgato, is 100 saturation. And basically what that is just colors are really vibrant, they're popping, and that's what I would recommend you guys have on if you have the Elgato. And it's crazy, it makes a world of a difference in colors. And as you guys can see in my thumbnail, the one on the left is basically no saturation, or not actually, it's not 0 saturation, it's basically the default saturation. And the one on the right is with the added saturation on it. So you guys can definitely see the big difference in between the both of them. And just so you guys know, this is something that I use in all of my thumbnails in Photoshop. I increase the saturation to make the colors pop, and every single YouTuber does this, every single person that uses thumbnails does this. They increase the saturation because that's what makes the colors pop, and it really makes everything a lot easier to see and definitely a lot better to use. And I do believe I play on about an 80 to a 90 saturation. I used to be on a 60 or 70 in my earlier videos, but I moved it up a little bit. And for this one, I'm not even sure what I moved it on. I think it's like a 70. And I was trying to change it out. I also moved the hue, which is basically just a color change. It's really weird to explain. I have it on like -20 or -30. And it kind of makes the screen a little bit greener, a little bit lighter. So that's what I was using in this gameplay right here. I mean, it was really good for seeing players in the darker areas, but it kind of made the thing a little bit dull and not as vibrant as I wanted it to. So I ended up switching it back. So in my newer gameplays, like I said, you're going to see the newer saturation is going to be a lot crisper and a lot easier to see. So with everything said in this video, with the increased saturation to having the Xbox X, it definitely makes a huge difference on my colors and makes everything a lot better and a lot easier to see. And I know a lot of you guys have been having questions about this and wondering how I have my colors the way they are. It's really unfortunate you guys can't have the same kind of colors that I have, but at the same time, there might be some kind of colorblind settings that might help out a little bit. But the whole reason and the entire reason why the colors look the way they do is because of the increased saturation that I have. I play on such a higher saturation than when it normally comes in, and it really does make my game look 10 times better. And with that being said, that's wrap it up for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys liked it. And if you could, drop a like on this video. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on my notifications so you're notified for every single new video. And alright guys, I will see you next video.